So please put your hands together and welcome Tim.
The microphone.
So it's just on the table behind you. Perfect.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim and welcome to a series of talks held by me and my colleagues from the same company called Avito. Avito is a service that connects buyers and sellers of different stuff. It's similar to Craigslist and OLX, but has 35 million unique active users per month and quite complex mobile applications, each having more than 1,500,000 lines of code. And today we're going to talk about the startup time, which is an important metric because it forms the initial sense of your application. So let's take a look at this timeline and split it into two eras, before main function and after main function. In the era of after main function, we take the time profiler and do our best to just do minimum work at the start and postpone everything to the later days. So you should be lazy, do not create tabs on tab bar controller or something like that, or labels if you don't present any content. And do not even use background threads because you really want your CPU to be free for main thread execution. So that's basically the three main points of after main. And before main, we can realize what's going on using duality print statistics environment variable, which in most of the modern projects shows that dynamic libraries loading is the main issue. And why is that? Just because there are lots of those dynamic libraries in those applications. So this brings us to the question of the talk, how to reduce dynamic libraries count. And actually there are two main approaches to this. Option one is CocoaPods plugin called Amimono. It's open source and available on GitHub. It even has a logo type, so yes, it's a real technology. And we've been using it for 2 years quite extensively, and it works fine. So what does it do in a nutshell? We have two applications and dynamic frameworks bundled inside. And now on the right, we have the application with Amimono involved, which shows us that we have no dynamic frameworks at all. Instead, we have binaries of those dynamic frameworks linked statically. So yes, Amimono links dynamic frameworks statically, and that was my face when I initially heard about that stuff. We've been using Amimono for 2 years, quite extensively and successfully, but later came up with another solution, quite an opposite one, which is dynamic libraries loading. Oh, lazy dynamic libraries loading. It's a bit tricky and it requires your application to have a specific architecture. My colleague Vadim will tell you a bit more about this later. So at the bottom we have core layer. It consists of just utility modules like networking, analytics, feature toggles, and so on. Core layer is used by the feature layer, which consists of modules with UI, like messenger feature, newsfeed feature, settings feature, and so on. And features get reused by applications. So even with this architecture, we can lazily link features because they are independent from each other. However, we cannot use this approach to lazily link core layer because the complexity or the dependency picture looks quite complex there. And here we need just this magic cat to merge core layer into a single module. And that's how we reduce dynamic libraries count. Using this approach, we'll get this picture on the application start up. Just one module from core layer, one module from feature layer, and that's all. And later on, we can on demand load these features as we need them. I know what you're going to say, just merge core layer into a single module, no problem, easy peasy, right? But actually that's not an easy peasy task, and it's just beyond this talk because it deserves a different talk actually. So we have two quite different approaches. Which one to choose? Let's take this highly theoretical graph which shows startup time depending on the project complexity. And in our project, we managed to realize that Amimono grows faster than lazy dynamic libs loading. Here's the midpoint, which pinpoints the simple projects from complex projects. In simple projects, Amimono really shines, and on complex projects, Amimono loses. We actually won 8% by removing Amimono and using lazy dynamic libraries count. One more slide. So wrapping things up, Amimono works best on simple projects. Lazy dynamic libraries loading works best on complex projects, but requires a modular architecture and a tool, magic tool, for merging core layer into a single module. Well, Amimono is easy to use, so we highly encourage you to try it out. It works best for 99% of projects, and that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and know that you can that you can optimize your upstart time not only on the application layer, but on the system layer as well. Take care.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tim.